Hey everybody, my name is Chris. Welcome to Casual Fragrances. Hope you're having a great day. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the channel. On this channel, we talk about fragrance related content. So if you're new here and you like fragrances, before the video ends, please search support if you're new here by clicking that red subscribe button down below. Today I'm going to give you my top 5 most complimented fragrances. So please keep in mind, these videos sometimes get overhyped or oversaturated where people believe that if they buy this fragrance they're going to get compliments. Please don't think that way. I'm making this video to show you that when you wear a fragrance, people might give you a compliment or gather compliments from these fragrances, but by all means, if you buy this fragrance for $100 plus, does not mean you're guaranteed to get a compliment. There's a lot of factors go into getting compliments. Maybe you're dressed well, you groom yourself very well, you're approachable to talk to, you can talk to people, you're not afraid of people, you don't have your head down, you don't like you're mad or depressed. And other people in the world are upset in the world too. So if somebody walks by you, maybe they're having a bad day at work, they don't want to give you a compliment saying you smell good. They're already going through enough traumatic stuff in their life. So keep that in mind. If you buy a fragrance, wear it for yourself. I know people love compliments, that's great, but just don't buy the fragrance to get compliments, because that's not the point of wearing a fragrance. The point of wearing a fragrance is you enjoy it, it makes you feel happy, it lifts up your mood, you smell great. But if you want to wear it for the compliment factor, by all means go ahead and wear it. So what are your most complimented fragrances, designer or niche? Leave a comment down below. In this video here, I'm tackling designer and niche together. Number 5 fragrance is from the house of Terre d'Hermes, and this is Eau Chivre. So this fragrance smells amazing. This fragrance has notes, love the sprayer, has notes of juniper berries, nice little sweetness, and it has a nice beautiful citron note, gives a nice freshness throughout the life of the fragrance. Very fresh, uplifting scent. Very easy to wear, nice icy cooling effect as well. Has this pepper kind of feel to the fragrance as well. This fragrance, I wore it to work. I did heavy. I did like maybe 10 sprays of this fragrance. I wore it to work. Sprayed it on my neck, my head, behind the ears, my t-shirt. So I was helping a lady at work. I was helping her put clothes in a certain section at the warehouse, and she's like, "Hey Chris." I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Hey, I want to let you know that the fragrance you're wearing, oh my God, it smells good on you." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Oh my God, it smells so amazing on you." Like, she went on and on. I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is," she said, "What is it called?" I said, "Oh, it's Terre d'Hermes Eau Chivre." And she's like, "What kind of fragrance?" I said, "Oh, well, it's a designer fragrance for men." She said, "Could a woman wear it?" I was like, "Yeah, a woman could wear it as well. It's a nice, fresh fragrance." So I got definitely check it out for myself. At the end of the day, she did enjoy this fragrance off me. I did overspray, did like 10 sprays, but, you know, crazy. But this doesn't have the best longevity. I said that before in my full review and first impression. I said it's good, but it's kind of light. So this fragrance, you're going to get maybe 4 to maybe 6 hours on your skin. On my skin, it still smells amazing for that 4 to 6 hours. Very refreshing fragrance, icing cooling effect. I love it. I got the 100 ml bottle. That's how much I love this one by the house of Terre d'Hermes. And it was a nice compliment because I wore it to work, and she kept going on how amazing I smell from this fragrance here. I love the fragrance anyway, but when a woman or a guy says, "Oh my God, you smell amazing wearing this fragrance," it's a reason why this fragrance is good. There's a reason why people like this fragrance. It can be a compliment to get a fragrance, but you might have to overspray it. But definitely check out Terre d'Hermes Eau Chivre. Number 4 fragrance is from the house of Tom Ford. Tom Ford, this is Noir Extreme Parfum. This fragrance smells amazing as well. Okay, so this fragrance has like this little bit of fresh in the opening, but kind of off-putting. It has a nice coffee feel to the fragrance where it's nice and sweet, gourmand type of fragrance. Now, this one here I got a compliment wearing to work as well. So I was training somebody on how to actually stack boxes on a pallet correctly. Sometimes it happens. A lot of people don't know how to stack boxes on a pallet, from bigger boxes on the bottom and the lighter boxes on the top. So I helped him out, and he was like, "Oh man, Chris, hey look, I smelled you from the beginning of the day, man. I didn't want to ask you. I wouldn't feel like weird asking a guy what he wears, but what kind of fragrance you have on?" And I said, "Oh, I have Tom Ford." He's like, "Hey, it reminds me of a fragrance that I have at home." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "What fragrance?" "I have Tom Ford Noir, the original." I said, "Well, I have, this is Noir Extreme Parfum." He's like, "I didn't know they made a new Tom Ford fragrance." So he's already into fragrances already. He just didn't know they came out with a newer version of it, because he has a few Tom Fords in the collection. So he already knew I was wearing a fragrance. He already knew what it smelled like, which was kind of cool. So I made him a sample. Told him, "Hey, I'll make you a sample next day." I told him about my YouTube channel. He subscribed to it, which was cool. I didn't want him to, but, "Oh, I want to learn more about fragrances." So he actually knew about this fragrance but didn't know they made a higher concentration. He's like, yo, thanks for the sample. A week later, he bought the bottle. He went there and bought a bottle of this, a 50 ml bottle, off of testing a little sample I gave him. He loved it. That's cool for me because when somebody likes fragrance you're wearing and actually knows about the brand, and then you give them a sample, and then a week later they go through the sample and they buy a bottle, that's cool because I actually gave somebody advice to buy a fragrance and they took it, they loved it, and ran with it. That's so cool. And I didn't get no money, no kickback. It was just nice helping somebody else that likes fragrances. I'm never going to go through this whole bottle of Noir Extreme. Come on, let's be realistic here. I got too many fragrances in my collection. But anyway, this is amazing. This fragrance is straight fire. So if you want to try out a sweet fragrance, slightly coffee gourmand fragrance, definitely check out Tom Ford Noir Extreme. This is the Parfum version. Number 3 fragrance is from the house of Louis Vuitton. This is City of Stars. This is an amazing scent. This is a new release as well. Oh my God. So this one here has notes of lemon, blood orange, red mandarin, lime, and Tara Accord. This fragrance is overall a fresh fragrance. It's fresh, it's sweet, slightly coconutty vibe, like a beachy vibe. This smells amazing. It's a very heavy price tag, like $280 for a 100 ml bottle, but they are refillable bottles. Once you empty them, you have to pay a little bit cheaper than full retail for, I think it's like $150 or $125 to refill your bottle, which is cool. And they give you a new cap and a new atomizer, which is awesome. I wore it to work, and the guy at my job, he's on a forklift all the time. So I had him, I was telling him, hey, pick up these 4 pallets here when you're done, have the guy wrap them. I was giving orders, and he's like, hey, Chris, man, look. He said, listen, man, I been noticing you smelling good like this whole week of work. He's like, and I know you've been wearing that one fragrance like 3 days in a row, and I want to know what it is. And I'm like, okay. I'm wearing Louis Vuitton City of Stars. He's like, Louis Vuitton? He's like, do they have a discount? I'm like, no, they don't sell a discount. This is full retail. So he's like, how much is that? I said, $280. He's like, whoa, it's a lot. So I'm like, hey, listen. I said, look, you like the scent? Yeah. So I made him a small little 3 ml sample. I said, here you go, try the sample out. So he really enjoyed the sample. He's like, it's awesome. And then he's like, hey, did they have a clone of it? I'm like, well, they do have clone brands or whatever. So I gave him a website. They have some clone brands or whatever, and he ended up buying himself a clone of this fragrance, and he enjoys it. Not the same, I want to say like 90% very similar to it, to the clone, but hey, you're on a budget, you don't want to spend $280 for a fragrance. He's married, he's got kids at home, so I understand that. But I gave him recommendations, he bought the clone of it, he said it smells very, very close to it, and he saved a shit ton of money. So nevertheless, I got a compliment this one. He said, man, you smell amazing. He said, I definitely pick up a lot of lemon on your skin. He's like, and I smell like some beachiness, like sandy beachy vibe on your skin. I'm like, okay, whatever. However you smell it. And it was just cool to have somebody actually describe what he smelled off of me. And he's not even a reviewer. He's just telling me from his own nose smelling. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this fragrance is fire. It's very expensive. Performance is okay. It's in that, I think I said 5 to 6 hours in my full review. Might push it maybe 7, depending if you overspray it. But this is going to be a fresh fragrance, so it's not going to last 8 to 10 or 12 hours. There's red mandarin, there's orange, there's blood orange, there's lime, there's lemon. So all these fresh notes, components are not going to last but so long on a fragrance. Whether it's from Louis Vuitton, whatever brand, all those fresh notes are eventually going to dissolve very quick. But this is an amazing fragrance. If you're looking for a fresh, beachy type of fragrance, definitely check out Louis Vuitton City of Stars. Number 2 fragrance is from the house of Lalique. This is Bergamot 22. Now this fragrance here has been talked to death on my channel, I know, but for good reason, okay? Please hear me out. So I wore this fragrance to work, and there's a girl at my job, and basically she was taking clothes out of the truck, and I had to write down how many come out the truck, blah, 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 so on and so forth. The day was over. I'm helping her lock everything up. She said, hey, Chris. I'm like, what's up? She says, what fragrance are you wearing? Because I could smell it from the time you got to work to the time you left work. I'm like, okay, and that's like a 8-hour shift I worked. I did an 8-hour shift, and then she left, and I did another 2 more hours, so I did 10 hours. But for the 8 hours, she said, I could smell this fragrance off you all day. She said it smelled amazing, a very fresh and clean type of scent. And I said, oh, it's Bergamot 22 by Lalique. She said, I never heard that brand. I pulled out my phone, I showed her the bottle, then I gave her the website where you can buy a bottle or sample. She said, oh, I'm going to buy me a sample. I said, try out the sample set. They have a bunch of amazing fragrances. She said, okay, I'll take your recommendation. So anyway, she loved loved this one, and she said, could a woman wear it? And I said, yes, this is a perfect unisex fragrance. A man or woman could wear it. And it was just cool. She actually wanted to wear the fragrance I was wearing, which I'm like, oh, I don't want you to wear the same fragrance I'm wearing to work. But nevertheless, it's Bergamot 22. It's one of the best fresh fragrances in the world right now, besides Xerjoff Neo. I always got to say that because they're neck and neck. It's an amazing fresh fragrance. If you want a fresh fragrance, you don't want anything else but a fresh and clean citrus type of fragrance, definitely get Bergamot 22. You won't regret it. It's definitely worth it. The price is heavy. I got like 6 hours on my skin. You can overspray this one, spray your clothes, whatever. She said she could still smell it on me. So after 6 hours, she could smell it. That's great. She was close to me. Keep that in mind, because she's taking clothes off the truck, and I'm actually talking to her within a couple feet trying to get the number right on paper. So she smelled it close enough to me, like more of an intimate type of scent smelling it. But nevertheless, definitely check out Bergamot 22 by Lalique. Number one fragrance that I got comment on is from the house of Armani. This is Armani Code Parfum. I love the magnetic cap. I'm sorry, I love it. Sprayers are amazing. So this one here is a new release, a 2022 release. This is a Parfum version. Okay, I love the cool bottle as well. I know some people say it's tacky, nevertheless. So I wore this to work, and the guy I work with part-time. Okay, and he came in, and I was getting ready to go to lunch, but he wanted to talk to me first. He said, hey, Chris, hey. He's like, man, you always smelling good. He's like, the last 2 days you've been wearing the same fragrance. And I want to ask you, is it from the line of Armani? And I'm like, yeah, it is. How'd you know? He's like, oh, I like Armani. That's my favorite brand, Armani, like Armani Code fragrances. I said, well, this is a new release, Armani Code Parfum. He said, oh, I didn't know they made a new release. So I was like, hey, look, I'll make you a small sample the next day I come to work, and you can try it out for yourself. He said, hey, are you sure? I'll give you money for it. I said, no, I don't know money. Just take the sample. It's not a big deal. I told him I was a fragrance reviewer. I was like, don't worry about it. So anyway, I gave him a sample. Next day, he was like, oh, man, I appreciate it. He wore it out. Chilled with his girl the weekend. Said, Chris, this fragrance is amazing. My girl loved it. I went out and bought a bottle the following week when I got paid. I still wore your sample before I started wearing the bottle, spraying the bottle. So it's pretty cool. Armani Code is an amazing fragrance. They have an amazing line of fragrance. They have too many flankers. That's just me speaking personally, but nevertheless, amazing. It's fresh. Two type of bergamots. There's Irish/Orris. There's tonka bean. This is the Armani Code DNA. It's just more of a fresher take on it. I really like this one. I've worn this a lot to work as well, and people just gravitate and like it. It can be an easy compliment of fragrance. I've said that before in my full review, that this is the type of fragrance that's going to attention. Women are going to like it, men are going to like it. They know what they're doing when they make Armani Code fragrances. They're going to get people's attention. People are going to talk to you. People are going to say, wow, you smell amazing. What are you wearing? That's what you want with a fragrance. You want this fragrance to smell good. You want to get at a decent price, and you want some type of attention, you know, whether it's from guys or girls, whatever you're into. And it smells amazing. I like this one a lot. This is one of the best releases of 2022. Maybe not my favorite, but it's one of the best of 2022. Armani Code Parfum, you should definitely check it out. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are my top 5 most commented fragrances that I got comments from this year of 2022. What is your list? Leave a comment down below. The year is almost over, so if I get any more, maybe I'll do an updated video, but I got less than a month left. So these are what I've gotten, and I'm very thankful for the few comments I've got, and I very thankful for the few people that told me about these comments. They started watching my videos, so thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. If you guys like these type of videos and you're not subscribed to my channel, I really hope you show your support by clicking that red subscribe button down below. That'd be an awesome Christmas gift from you guys, from you to me, if you want to subscribe to the channel. On the road to 10,000 subscribers, almost there. Be safe, everyone, and I'll catch you in my next video coming soon. Peace.